Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more casts of Pro Ladder games. This is going to be a game between FantaSy over here in the top left and Sacsri in the top right. So yeah, this should be a fun one. You know, if you checked out the video from yesterday, as of, well, when this recorded, obviously I don't know which day you're watching this on, but the previous video that I released from this one was a fantasy Terran vs. Zerg, and those are always very fun because fantasy has a very different style against Zerg in general. Really does like to go for like mech plays. Here going up against Sacsri. Sacsri is an extremely strong Zerg player. You know, he is really deadly, very, very underrated. I think in most fans' eyes, all the pros know that he is like a very good, strong, solid ASL caliber Zerg, right? This is someone that I actually, if he doesn't make it into ASL in a given season, it's like, oh, damn, what happened? You know, it's not someone that I expect to see in the top 8, but it's like, there are not 24 players in the world that are better than Sacsri. So maybe that's a good way to put it. Maybe that's the way to put it. He's definitely top 24. Anyways, we're on Nemesis, and this is a map that, you know, when I saw it's on Nemesis, it's like, well, damn, that's a great map for fantasy to do some different things on. Maybe go for mech on this map. Definitely seems like it's a good map for moves like that. It's a low economy 4-player map. So, you know, there's also like very short distances for rushing, and like the terrain can get complicated in certain areas, but, you know, mass siege tanks can, you know, fix a lot of the things that can go wrong on a map like this for Terran. So we'll see if he goes for that. I think that, in fact, this map might just be a little bit Terran favored against Zerg in general. You know, as I think it's a little bit hard for Zerg to keep the gas and come going forever, basically. Anyways, thank you for watching ArtosisCasts. Hope that you're enjoying the channel and the videos. A big thanks to everyone who's been commenting and leaving likes on the videos and all that. The channel's been growing a lot recently, and I do appreciate you all for that. Definitely, it's one of the big goals of mine is to just make this like a really big channel that everyone can always watch Brood War pro games on for the rest of time. This game really should never go away. So big thanks, guys. Very much appreciated, and I will continue to try to put out the best quality games that I can find from the pro gamers. It seems like right now there's just a buffet of great games out there for sure. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. On Sacsri's side, you know, there is his, you know, finishing of the natural hatchery right into that 2 hatchery layer play. So it's probably just going to be a very fast spire. Over on Fantasy side, it's just a barracks expansion. Looks like he's deciding to very quickly take down this assimilator. So once you take down this assimilator, that will prevent any lurkers from coming through here, right? If you kill the eggs, you're still able to get bio through. You're still able to get Zerglings through. You're still able to get Hydralisks through. But no lurkers, right? And that is something that happens on this map sometimes, is you'll do like a lurker rush and just kill the eggs and just run into the main base and Terran dies. So I'm not judging him going very quickly to kill this assimilator, deciding, you know what, let's just play safely here. He is going to try to go after the second one. You do have to be careful, because once you lose this, if they happen to send their Zerglings across the map, the front is a little bit scantily defended, as 3 Marines are back here killing the assimilator. Academy is on the way, additional barracks as well. And we'll see how many racks that Fantasy wants to go up to. Does he want to get an engineering bay for +1 attack, or just for missile turrets, right? Like, I would imagine in a game like this where he's opening with 2 barracks and it's not a super fast factory, we're going to have to see that +1. So his Marines maintain some value into the mid game, right? Because if you don't get +1 on Marines, they're actually pretty weak. Like, you really do need that against Zerg. And yeah, it's hard to say right now if he's going to be going for a mech switch. That's something that we have to wait to see what he does. Like, do you go 2 Starport? Do you go 1 Starport? That type of thing. Anyways, looks like he has plenty of Marines out here. Sacsri unable to do any sort of damage. Sacsri taking this as his 3rd base. To mention, only 3,000 gas in this geyser. Of course, the mineral patch is a bit lower. Zerg doesn't care about that so much. but very much of this matchup is based upon the geysers. And so this is why, you know, these bases are like free for Zerg. You can easily, you know, if you kill off the 2 assimilators, it's like, yeah, well, you can't even attack me, maybe a drop, but mutas counteract that really well. But the thing is, they run out, right? So that's where the map can get a little tough for Zerg. If you're really playing a grindy game against them with like irradiates and marine rotations, that can be a little bit tricky. Now, it looks like we did have a little run-in by Zerglings. They'll be dealt with. This is, you know, it's like this thing that you do to try to like slow missile turrets, that type of thing. But he kills them in plenty of time, gets his +1 started, gets the range started, and he'll be throwing down some missile turrets very, very, very soon here. This group of Marines with a couple fire bats going to start moving forward. SCV going out as well, maybe to scout some other bases, let them know what's what, where's where. Only 2 barracks into missile turrets. That's kind of an interesting choice. It's much more common to see 3 barracks or 4 barracks, but you can absolutely do the 2 barracks play. It's just you have to be very careful with this first group out there. So if he ends up losing this first group to Sacsri, it's going to become increasingly hard for him to put any pressure on in this game because 2 barracks just will not replace an army. It takes so long that the whole game state has changed before you have a secondary army that may be able to walk out onto the map. So FantaSy is just buying time with these. He just wants the mutas to stay away from his base. He's picking off what he can. Sacsri is being very careful, but he knows that this army is going to die. He knows he's going to get the kill on it. So you don't have to go too quick. You can let him use up some of their, you know, suck out the medic energy with the overstimming and all that. And as Sacsri can, he'll pick this army off. All right, gets in there, picks off another one, takes some damage. You know, he's just rotating the mutas out, and he'll just jump on it now, I think. Oh, a little bit sloppy, bringing back the hurt one. And he will end up killing these Marines and medics. So he kills that first group. Back at home, it's like, okay, well, we kind of have an army again. But the mutalisc count is bigger this time. So this army is not one that can walk out onto the map. The 3rd Rax goes up as the factory finishes. Still no additional geyser here. So this might end up being a Valkyrie build. It's hard to say. There is +1 carapace on the way here for Sacsri. So with that +1 carapace, you know, even if there are Valkyries coming out, he's actually going to be very, very ready for them. Continuing that harassment, the Marines going to run up and stim behind to try to push them away. And we don't see the armor yet. He has to start the armory like right now if he wants to go for that, or the second gas. Should have been started probably a little bit ago. It's going to be hard for him to support 2 Starport science vessels and get a radiate and get +2 attack. Probably going to have to go into +1 armor here for the Marines. I think he's just going to be a little bit behind as far as, you know, that the gas goes. The muta's actually doing a great job here from Sacsri. Getting some significant damage. Look at this, 32 SCVs only right now. This is more in the area where you're hoping to have mid-40s on your SCVs. You know, once basically, generally you'll have about 33-ish, give or take, a couple SCVs as you get your tech going. So he's got slightly below that. So the harassment has been very good. We're going to have to see consistent production here out of FantaSy as far as SCVs go. Oh, what is that noise? Ooh, this is a cute move from FantaSy. He's killing the eggs from a direction that you don't expect. So he might be able to go in here and kill a lot of drones. So this could be the counterplay that FantaSy needs right now. We'll keep an eye on that in a moment. The muta's still wreaking havoc at this natural expansion. Having a very hard time keeping his SCV count up. In fact, you can see more drones, but maybe not for long. Great Firebat run-in right now from FantaSy. This one move really changing the state of this game. It was definitely very much so led by Sacsri, but now that these 2 Firebats are in here, well, he's got to send a muta to deal with them. Where's a muta? Like, I don't think he's even making any additional ones, so he's just not going to be mining from there for a little bit. Really, really annoying. Okay, does send some mutalisks back, continuing to harass over here. The worker count getting a little bit closer, but Sacsri has remade a little bit. Man, Sacsri's mutalisk harassment, absolute insanity here. Now, double dropship coming out of FantaSy. Not what I expected to see. The double dropship play, this is desperation at its finest. This is FantaSy saying, wow, I'm kind of dead here. And the most asymmetric returns that you can get at this stage of a Terran versus Zerg is via dropships, right? Like Irradiates or Valkyries are pretty linear with the amount of damage that they're going to do to Zerg. It's like it builds up over time. You're gaining value over time. It's like, okay, well, one Irradiate is going to kill one unit, and now we keep the vessel alive for a bit, and now we kill a second unit, you know, a minute and 15 seconds later, that type of thing. Here with the dropships, it's like, okay, well, if you get the drop in the right place, you might actually deal the same amount of damage you would have gotten with, you know, 5 Irradiates. But at the same time, Scourge might fly into it, and you lose 10 supply, and it does nothing, right? So that's the big thing about these dropships is they can give you that huge return, but it's irregular. So it's a bit of a risk to go for it right now. There's other times that you can go for it, like after you already have been irradiating everything and you have map control and you push back overlords, your opponent doesn't see it coming as often. It's like, okay, that's a higher percentage chance. This is a Hail Mary right now. I almost called it a Bloody Mary. That's a Hail Mary right now, and it might deal some significant damage. Now, there is a lurker going up here. There are a couple mutas watching for anything over here. Maybe they were just there to kill off those geysers, but he's going to go ahead and unload. And you know what? He gets the units out. He kills 2 mutas. He's going to kill an overlord. There's a lurker down here, so he can't really engage. And, of course, with this many mutas, you can just eliminate this drop. Not the worst thing, though. That bought him some time as well. Another drop into that top mid. Nothing there to see. He might, you know, he could try to get it over here or something. Maybe hit a drone from high ground, something like that. Yeah, the Marines walking forward with that dropship. They see the Scourge. Going to try to pick those off. Maybe try to take the eggs out. It's hard to say. Woo! Trying to bait the Scourge in. I love it. I love it. But he does know that the mutas should be on their way back, and the mutas will easily deal with such a small group. So going to try to get them out of here, bringing them back towards the rest of his army. Now, he does have a forward army here as well. Not a ton of defense here for Sacsri. Realistically, this could actually break that very, very quickly if the mutas aren't around. Kind of an interesting game. I really feel like those 2 fire bats put FantaSy into a position where, you know, maybe he does have a chance now. More vessels coming out. He already has 4. He's retained both dropships. And don't forget, you know, that one drop over here, it didn't do a lot, but it bought him time. It feels like everything's stabilized for FantaSy. He's remaking his SCVs. He's macroing out as quickly as he can. You know, he's got 4 racks, 2 starports, and a good amount of vessels. Hey, that's an army that you can actually maybe end up winning this game with. It's not like Sacsri has like some unbelievable force right now. He's still got some pretty healthy mutas that are good. Stacked lurkers, okay, that's good. Nidus's more stacked lurkers here in case he tries to go through. And, of course, the Overlord floating over it so you can't irradiate. In fact, that one I think is slightly off. I think actually you could probably irradiate. Yeah, see, he's moving it. You might still be able to get the corner there. We'll see about that. But, yeah, definitely he's setting up these very strong defenses. Plague on the way already for his Defilers, so we should see Defilers popping out. Yeah, there they are with their consumes on these Zerglings. And he's going to be going for Plagues as opposed to Darkstorms. He doesn't need the Darkstorms right this moment. If a bust occurs, he can throw a Darkstorm, but I think this is more about hitting with the Plagues. Now, notice the 2 Scourge. They're zoning the vessels from coming in easily. Now, here we go. Ooh! Good Plague. Good Plague. Does get their Radiate off. Oh, and yeah, he popped that one out. You got to be careful. You don't want it to go in your drone line. It could end up killing a lot of drones there. FantaSy decides to pull back for now. He is making his 3rd command center here. Yeah, more dropships going to be added in. That's really interesting. So he has these 2, and he's decided, you know what, we need 2 more. You know, 4 dropships is about the maximum that we really ever end up seeing. Now comes in, and he's going to lead with that front dropship that actually had half as many units. That was kind of an interesting move. Left 4 here to make sure the Scourge will push back and then gets all these out. There are 3 lurkers, and he can't see them at all. Okay, so now he sees, oh my god, a huge Plague on that army. So this is, well, I mean, he's still kind of engaging. He does have that high ground, so there are some missed shots in there. And he actually, I mean, that was pretty darn good. He killed a lot of Hydras and Lings. Might end up killing the Sunken as well, but can't come down the ramp against those lurkers. Not the end of the world for either side. Not enough energy. Okay, so more irradiates going down. We have melee upgrades and ranged attack upgrades coming. Oh, it looks like we have Hydraless speed. So this might turn into like the Hydra Lurker Defiler style. And it looks like with those melee upgrades, he'll be adding in more Lings as well. That's been a little bit trendy also to go with this. New base being taken by Sacsri, but, you know, we do have this base secured now. Looks like he wants to kill off the assimilators so that nothing can get in here. Maybe leave just a small group of Marines, so it's well defended. You know, just in case mutas come or a drop or something like that. Anything wiggles in somehow. Okay, a couple pickoffs there, but does throw down some irradiates. Of course, irradiate on the Hydras, not the greatest move, as they can just turn into Lurker eggs and take no damage from that irradiate. Radiate on that Defiler. Fantasy trying to keep the pressure on. And it looks like we're going to have some battle cruisers. Now, I love battle cruisers as much as the next guy, okay? But when you're playing against Hydra Lurker Defiler, battle cruisers are generally pretty weak. Hydras under Darkstorm obviously just slaughter them. Hydras in general slaughter them. We'll see what he can do, though. You know, with a map like this, I can still see them being useful because you can, like, maybe fly in and target a Nidus real quick, right? Whereas on a more open map, the Hydras are always going to be able to get into a defensive position relatively quickly. Here, that's not the case. Like, walking up here, down here, over here to defend is a lot less than walking straight over, which you would do on a more normal map. So, yeah, maybe those battlecruisers actually still will be really, really useful here. Now, a lot of plagues going down. This is how you generally grind with this build from Sacsri. Throwing down a lot of plagues, pushing forward with a Darkstorm here and there. Yeah, gets another nice plague down on those vessels. Those will be a lot easier to pick off with the Hydras as they take that additional damage. The Lurker push coming out and getting him to move forward as well. 4 dropships. Oh, my God. Not completely full, but almost going around the map. This is a very powerful move. Now, this base is definitely what he's going after. You know, there's a huge saturation here. There are 3 Lurkers here still. He might be thinking about dropping here, but look at the defense from Sacsri. He knows that this is an idea from Fantasy. Now, a little Darkstorm push up at the natural. This actually could be very, very bad for Fantasy. This is something that can end up killing you. Now, let's take a look at this drop happening at the same exact time. Oh my God! One of the drops gets picked off. 2 of them get picked off, so not that many units going to get out of here, but enough to deal with everything it looks like. In the meantime, Darkstorm's in the natural. He's trying to switch over into mass siege tanks, and it looks like those factories may end up getting picked off, which is going to be absolutely brutal for him. More vessels are being produced. Looks like over here did get pushed down very quickly as well. And I think Sacsri has taken a big advantage from here. Yeah, this is getting really rough for Fantasy right now. The Lings in the natural here dealing a lot of damage even as well. You know, he still has this base that's mining very nicely. He's still got a decent economy, and looks like he will be able to clean a bunch of this up. Oh, man. But as the Darkstorms continue to come in, maybe he just needs to start making more Fire Bats. Like, honestly, if you have, like, a bunch of Fire Bats here, it will beat this army under Darkstorm. It's only got 4 there. Ooh, the Plague really helping out as well. Yeah, he's starting to carve through absolutely everything. The Battlecruiser tries to go up, but he's going to call GG as he flies into Mass Spore. And that's going to be it. Sacsri takes down Fantasy.